Hello and welcome back to Historical Humans Reacts. And today we are jumping back over to Greece, talking about the miracle plant that was once used, that was rediscovered after 2,000 years. Although I did misspeak a little bit because the plant wasn't found in Greece, at least not the
Uh,
new version.
yes, yeah. So, well, not so much, but basically, so this plant is known as silphium, and it was used as a medicinal plant in Greece, Rome, and Egypt. All three places grew it, and it was hailed sort of as this miracle plant. It was an edible plant that could be used for um, medicine, again, as food because edible and contraception. Uh,
Ooh, that's a big one.
it was supposedly you could consume it if properly prepared and have safe adult fun time.
Which was in high demand and was one of the most sought after products in the Mediterranean, even before the rise of Athens or Rome.
Yeah, no, it is. Its use predates the great empires of the Mediterranean, and when those empires did arise, it actually held its value as the equivalent of silver. So it held up as it was the equivalent of trading in precious metals, and Julius Caesar in Rome kept stockpiles of the plant alongside gold. It was treated as essentially a Fort Knox type currency.
However, just 7 short centuries after it was discovered and rose to popularity, it practically disappeared to the point where Roman elder and chronicler Pliny the Elder wrote that just one stalk was found in the first century AD, and it was given to Emperor Nero.
And that is the last it was ever heard of. And it's funny that you mentioned like it, being first found because the first location to actually grow it is Cyrenaica, which is in Libya,
Ooh.
of all places. So this is all along the Mediterranean. Now, the plant that has been discovered, as people are claiming to be silphium, uh, has been discovered in Turkey. Which, given the fact that this thing was grown in Greece, Italy, Libya, Egypt, having a batch in Turkey might not seem too out of place. Um, the researcher in question is a professor at Istanbul University, Mahmut Miski, and he believes that this a plant called Ferula drudiana on Mount Hassan is in fact silphium.
And in
It is
thinking
a
so,
big
he
plant.
thinks that because they both share medicinal purposes, they're both used for similar things like anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer compounds.
Yeah. Additionally, they have similar physical descriptions. Silphium is supposed to be a yellow flowering plant with thick branching roots, and Ferula drudiana shares those same qualities. I believe it is depicted in the. I believe it is depicted at some point in this article, but I can't say for certain where.
So the
But what?
top image is a picture of the plant, and then below is
Yeah,
a silver coin with it depicted. So there are some certain similarities between the two plants right off the bat.
yeah, yeah. And one of the key things to note too is that the places in Turkey where the plant has been located, where this Drudiana is, are places that were historically inhabited by Greeks. So this is basically
Ooh.
Greek Ionia, the coast of Turkey, was home to a number of Greek city-states for many centuries, and so that if the Greeks use it as a medicinal plant, then it seems likely that they would import it with them, especially since the climate in Western Turkey isn't too different from the climate in, say, mainland Greece.
It's interesting too because there have been studies that show that the medicinal compounds found in this plant mimic that were reported with the ancient plants. Had when they were looking at it, they realized that they collected specimens of the ferula, which is in the same family as carrots, fennel, and parsley, had reputation for yielding many novel disease-fighting compounds. And when studying that, he had figured out that it had 30 secondary metabolites that had medicinal purposes. So 30 things within the plant that could have medicinal purposes. So it's kind of makes sense that it was used for that.
Yeah.
Many of which are cancer-fighting, contraceptive, anti-inflammatory.
And when you have this alongside the birth of Western medicine under the Greeks, it seems logical that people just beginning to figure out the scientific theory of medicine would look at an object that cures seemingly unrelated ailments as a miracle plant that can cure anything. Especially given the plant has at least 30 medicinal applications. For all you know, it could be anything from stomach aches to chronic migraines, and suddenly it's a cure-all button.
What I do find kind of interesting is, according to Pliny's records, sheep and goat would graze in pastures where Siliphin grew, and the sheep would fall asleep after consuming it, and it caused the goats to sneeze.
Yeah, which begs the question: can we get enough of this into a pasture to see what happens when the animals eat them?
Yeah, we need to duplicate it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be poisoning the animals. Hopefully, but still, we might be interesting. And he has been Miski has been studying this for a long time. He first made a publication of these similarities and of his theory back in 2021. There are still publications going on now in 2023, so that shows sign that the research has been going on for a while and hasn't really run up into anything that would stop it in the context of the modern world. It hasn't run into someone else going, wait, here's something else that proves this wrong, which is what usually happens when things go public. Is someone else has another piece of the puzzle that disproves you. And the fact that that's not happened makes us very hopeful for the return of the ancient Greek miracle plant.
Well, and there's other similarities too, like the original Siliphin was noted to come down after black rains, which were heavy downpours, and the new plant, ferula, was noted to grow after a massive downpour, and it would, huh?
Yeah, no, like the April showers make it taller than humans. It's
6
hilarious.
feet in just a month.
Yeah.
Moreover, as ancient Siliphin resisted cultivation, it had to be harvested in the wild. It basically showed that it was unfarmable.
Yeah. Hippocrates tried twice and failed twice to make it happen. And let's be honest, if the father of medicine can't figure out how to make a medicinal plant grow, it's pretty much hopeless for society at the time. Yeah.
And just archaeologists, specifically Erica Rowan, an archaeology professor of archaeobotany at Royal Holloway, University of London, finds that this conclusion is actually plausible. Basically, that the ancients were good at transporting things, and there's no reason they wouldn't have been able to take seeds with them.
Yeah. The ancient Greeks were obsessed with this plant. The ancient Greeks lived in the area where this plant is now found. The area where this plant is now found is remote and a place that cultivation would not, take place. And the plant does not like places where cultivation takes place. And so it's just one of those things which, like, everything keeps lining up for it. And we might not ever be able to exactly prove that it's silphium. We'd have to find a jar that we would know had contained, say, the laser of silphium, its nectar. But even then, we're probably never finding that jar. We're probably never getting hold of that jar, but like this is probably what it was.
Yeah, there's a good likelihood, and it's plausible. I mean, more studies and research can go to show, and we could find out potentially. But that
And
is a
but
cliffhanger we might have to leave off on.
yeah, but before we do get off on, just one of the things that makes this super exciting is the fact that even with Pliny, the Elder's testimony about it being given to Nero, for a long time and for a lot of history, people regarded silphium as a mythical plant, one that actually did not in fact exist. So to have living proof that it is in fact real is very exciting.
I'm just waiting for ambrosia to be found to be real. The nectar of the gods.
Mm-hmm. We have universal medicine. I'm going to take that.
And we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.